Hello everybody out there, welcome to my review. Today we have a little adapter here called the RetroGEN, which is a very cool tool. It allows you to play Genesis or Mega Drive games through a Super Nintendo or Super Famicom console. It's by TTX Tech, and it's given me some very good results. I've tested it with my, albeit small, collection of Genesis and Mega Drive games, and the results are actually really great. I was, many of you will expect with a clone, especially something just like a small cartridge like this, that there would be major compatibility issues, major issues with the sound, such as the music being out of key or out of time, and really none of that seems to be a major issue with the RetroGEN, which is why I figured I'd spend the time to go ahead and review it, because it's, you know, if you have a Super Nintendo, but you also like Sega games, this is not something that you should pass up. I would definitely recommend giving this one a shot. Now let's just jump into what comes with the package when you buy it. I ordered mine off eBay. The total, including shipping, was $35, and it came with the RetroGEN cartridge, which is region-free. You'll see there, you've got NTSC, PAL Europe, NTSC Japan, and PAL Asia. And the PAL Asia switch almost seems to never come in handy, because most PAL games will run under the PAL Europe setting. But this is a very cool feature. However, it does come with drawbacks. If you play a Mega Drive game through this adapter, it will play the music faster than it's supposed to. It's sped up as a result of the PAL and NTSC difference. So if the music still sounds exactly as it does from your Genesis console, it's just played at the wrong speed. Another important thing that comes with this is your little AV cables here. You have an AV out. That's a 3.5mm jack that looks exactly like a headphone end. And it comes out there with your AV cables, and this is great, especially if, like me, you've got them on the front of your TV there. That's just incredibly convenient. All you really need to do is slap the card in your console and plug in that little cable to the front there, and you've basically turned your SNES into a Genesis by doing that. Of course, an important aspect is button mapping. They've done an excellent job mapping the buttons comfortably to the Super Nintendo controller. On a Genesis controller, you have your A, B, and C buttons directly in a line, and of course your mode button. On your Super Nintendo controller, there's a lot more buttons here, but what they've done is done A, B, and C just in a line there, much like the real Genesis controller. If you're like me and you actually prefer the SNES pad, this is just brilliant, because games like Sonic, Aladdin, Castlevania Bloodlines all respond to this controller just as well as they would to the real Sega Genesis controller. So you've got a really well thought out button mapping, which is just endlessly important in playing a game. Okay, so we'll start out with the most basic of the basic. Sonic the Hedgehog, the European Mega Drive version. I've got my retro port plugged into the side there, plugged into the front of my TV. So we'll go ahead and we would assume, since it's a Mega Drive game, that we'd want it set to PAL E. So let's just go ahead and flip that switch there. Second position. It's very easy to tell which position the switch is in, so that's a good thing. We'll pop Sonic in. Mega Drive cartridge set to Mega Drive mode. Let's see what we get. Turn up the volume a bit there for that. So the first thing I notice is the graphics are really spot on. However, and the music too, if you can hear that. However, it's playing very slowly. It is, it looks as if it has been put into slow motion. So this is a Mega Drive game on the PAL setting. Let's try the Mega Drive game on the NTSC setting and see what results. I've taken the cartridge out and put it into the NTSC mode, even though this is a Mega Drive game. So let's see how my Mega Drive game runs in the NTSC setting. The sound is clearer. The graphics look the exact same. Oh look, and the gameplay is actually up to speed where it belongs. Wow. So your Mega Drive games still want to be set to NTSC, at least Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's see. First here, responsiveness. The button layout, as I said before, seems just right. There we go. So we've got. Let's see, how well does it react? Right. Button allocation. Yeah, well, it works perfectly. I couldn't have asked for. I've play tested it a few times, of course, and I couldn't have asked for a more satisfying result with the controller or the sound. Spot on, as you can hear. So, well, Sonic, we got a successful test. It's strange that we had to pick the wrong region on purpose, but I'd call that a success. So we're still in NTSC. Let's try the Mega Drive version of Aladdin. See how that goes on the NTSC setting. Developed for use only with PAL French CCAM Mega Drive systems. Alright, well, this is the same exact region as Sonic, but this one actually does want to be set to the PAL setting. So we'll go ahead and see how it reacts now that it's on PAL. And we get it starting up. That's great. It's always the first good sign. Anyone who's played the game before should know that the music is playing significantly quicker. In key, sounding good, but the tempo is upped significantly. The sound and color is just perfect. There are a few oddities with this adapter. If there's too much yellow or white on the screen, usually it only will happen in a logo, very rarely during gameplay. The screen will actually shift, so you'll have about that much of distortion along the top, and the rest of the image will have moved down an inch, which is quite strange, but there you can hear the music playing very quickly. It's in key, it sounds great, it's just faster than it's meant to be. The graphics are. I seriously could not have asked for more. The cable that comes with it displays it fine. So there we have two PAL games. One needs to be set to NTSC, one needs to be set to PAL. That's a bit strange, but so far I'm really satisfied with the results. Alright, we're still in the PAL setting, but let's try an NTSC game. Genesis, Castlevania Bloodlines, a classic. So this is an NTSC cart. We're gonna see if it'll run in PAL, just to see the extent to which this crossover region stuff really goes. And it starts. There's that distortion at the top. It's hard to tell with a actual camera. See, and we don't get past the Konami screen here because we've got it set to the wrong region. So let's just pull that out. It's an NTSC game, so we'll go ahead and click it into NTSC. And there, that's what we really wanted to see. The copyright information, Sega, and there it is. NTSC cart in NTSC mode, so it's correct. God, the music sounds exact. Very pleased so far. So this, you'll notice the NTSC games play the music perfectly, no speed issues even. All regions are going to be in key and sounding fine, but if you're playing a PAL game through this adapter, expect it to be faster than it's supposed to be. There we go, you can just go ahead and give it a run through. Any glitchiness here? No, the controls, super responsive. I'm really pleased with this. This has basically enabled me to turn my Super Nintendo into 2 different consoles. It's got extremely good display. The graphics are clear, looking just like they would from a real Sega. This is great. The only drawback I can really think is the fact that it needs its own cable, but that's not too much really. It's got Mega Drive and Genesis support. The sound's great. The compatibility is great. The controls work just as they're supposed to. I've tested it with 2-player, and it does work with games like Marble Madness and 2-player. Or Sonic 2. I haven't had any compatibility issues. I've got, here is my games. This is a reproduction of Wily Wars, this is Miss Pac-Man, Sonic 2, Sonic & Knuckles, Marble Madness, and of course these ones I've already tried. All of them work just fine, and yeah, that's pretty much covering a big range of the console selections, so I can only recommend this. If you have a Super Nintendo and you love Sega and you know happen to have some Sega carts, don't want to buy a whole console, get this. It's a cheap solution and it works great. You'll enjoy playing your Sega classics with your Super Nintendo controller. Final verdict, I'd have to give this thing a high mark and recommend it.